Paul Brennan is in Giglio. Let's talk to him now. He joins us now from the island off the Italian coast. We call them rescuers, Paul, but in reality, what is it, a week now since the ship went down? There's very little chance in the wet and the cold of finding anybody alive now.
Yes, I mean, to be perfectly frank, any hope of finding survivors in the wreck of my shoulder has gone, and what we're talking about now is just a search operation. Relatives of some of those 21 missing passengers have arrived here in Giglio. There is a Peruvian family whose waitress daughter is missing still. They've been here for a couple of days. They've been a little impatient, frankly, and a little bit critical of the authorities, but the authorities, who have had to suspend the search operation 3 times now because the ship has been shifting on the rocks, insist that safety of the divers has to be the priority. You know, the chance of finding anybody alive in there now is so minuscule that, frankly, they can't risk the life of a diver when the prospect of saving a life of a passenger really isn't there as a realistic prospect anymore.
So, Paul, when we see them
we're going to have a news
underwater
conference in the next few minutes, actually.
No, sorry, you finish your point there, and then we'll talk about some of the pictures we're looking at. Yeah, news conference?
Sure. We're going to have a news conference in the harbour in the next few minutes with the guy who's taking overall control of the operation, and we hope to hear a little bit more about this search operation and the decision, whether a decision is going to be made between scaling back the search operation and prioritising the salvage operation. So we should have something more by the next hour for you.
When we see the divers underwater, and I hope we can see those pictures again, what are they actually trying to do?
They're trying to access areas of the hull that have been previously very, very difficult to access. Because the ship's on a 70-degree angle, it toppled over onto its side. There is a huge amount of debris. It hasn't just filled with water. Everything that was previously on the port side of the ship has all shifted down to the starboard side. There is an awful lot of debris that divers are finding great difficulty getting through. And rather than use the conventional corridors and doors that are there on the ship anyway, what they're doing is blasting holes in the hull to allow them much more direct access into the very depths. That's what they're trying to do. It means it's safer for the divers because they don't have to wind their way through a labyrinth of corridors, and it's also quicker. It means that they can get in and out quick. If the ship shifts again, for example, they can get out quickly before it becomes too dangerous for them.
We hear a lot, Paul, about the oil that's on board and the fact they don't want it to leak out into the beautiful, pristine waters that are there. Why aren't they trying to get that out at the moment?
Well, it's a big question, and I think that news conference that I mentioned will certainly be asking about this priority between the search and the salvage. There are many people saying, certainly not least the salvage engineers themselves, saying there's no reason why the salvage and search can't go on alongside each other. Of course, if you're blasting holes in the hull, then you don't really want salvage engineers to be anywhere near it. But at the same time, there is the hope now that the salvage operation will be prioritised to some degree. The weather has been incredibly, in fact, unseasonably good over the past week. The authorities really have had good luck on their side. They don't want to squander that luck with a weather front coming through in the next day or two and find that conditions worsen considerably, and this window of opportunity that they have is lost.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Presumably you'll be along to that news conference. Let us know what happens.